good morning to you. Welcome to Asake Online. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is the Breakfast Club. And every Friday, we bring you the program Unpacking COVID, where we talk to survivors of COVID-19 to share their experiences, find out how they felt, what changed them, and probably some of this information can, help someone who's deciding whether to go and test or not, or is actually battling COVID. It gives you a bit of motivation and inspire you to know that some people have gone through it and they have survived. I know in Zimbabwe currently things are bad. We are losing people every week. This week we got the highest of about 70 people dying. That was on Monday, and these numbers might keep on increasing. So we want to create awareness. I also noticed that this week the government has increased the fines for people who are not wearing a mask and who are breaking curfews regulations, and the fines have gone up level 3 from 500 to 5,000. $5,000 is a lot of money, and we really encourage people to stay at home. If you decide to go in town, mask up, sanitize, social distance. But from my experience and talking to other people, I think we get COVID from people that we're close with. Because it is the people that we normally tell ourselves that I know these ones I know and I'm not going to wear masks. So our workmates, our friends, our relatives, let's be careful when you're around them and wear a mask unless it's people that you stay with every day. Today in my program, I'll be talking to Sindi Malaba, who also has just survived COVID-19, and she was telling me that the first time we played this program, she was going through a lot, and the program really helped her, inspired her, and we want her to tell us more about what she was going through. Sindi, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Zenzele, and thank you.
Tell us, how did you notice that you had COVID?
All right. So, this COVID thing is really, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just so complex and can really not be understood easily. So my story is like this. I was healthy, not showing any symptoms at all, but I had to test for COVID because I had come home over the festive period and I had to come back to work, and it was mandatory for me to be tested because I needed the traveling certificate, the results for me to be able to come back to work. So this is on the 10th of January. Okay, so I got tested, I think it was around the 8th, and I traveled around the 10th. So this is the interesting part. I leave home, I'm all right, and I get to where I'm working, and it's again mandatory to test again, and it's mandatory. We have this side. I'm working in the UAE. It's mandatory this side to have a 1-week quarantine. And after that, you isolate, home isolation for another week, just to ensure that if you're coming from outside the country, you're not bringing in anything. These guys are really strict in trying to, keep this whole thing under control. So this is me. I've left home on the 10th of January, having tested at home a few days back. I'm traveling all the way, all the flights and everything. And just because I have a medical background, I'm a nurse by profession, I'm a dialysis nurse. So this nurse in me is always active somehow, especially during this pandemic period. So here I am traveling, I'm wearing the proper surgical mask, and I'm being a little dramatic here and there. Can you believe I had a sanitizer, a spray sanitizer? So I'm traveling Qatar Airways from Johannesburg, coming all the way to the Middle East. I literally was even spraying my seat. I had cleaner wipes, wiping everything, because I'm just telling myself we're living in these pandemic days. So I'm doing everything, almost everything I can, just to ensure that I'm okay when I get to my destination. When the attendants, like flight attendants, were giving me food, can you believe I even had gloves in my handbag? I would use hand gloves to get my food. This is me being like extra dramatic, but I was just like, people would just have to forgive me. I'm just looking out for myself.
Yeah.
I'm wiping with sanitizing everything with my sanitizer, and I'm ensuring everything is under control. Great. I arrived to the UAE, and rightfully so, I'm taken to my hotel where I'm supposed to be in quarantine. And I'm okay from home, the whole journey, interestingly, I could not even stand to go to the bathroom the whole journey because I didn't want to be unnecessarily touching things, handles that everyone is touching. I was that much cautious. And I get to my destination. I'm taken to my quarantine apartment. And the thing that they do now is you have to be swabbed on the first day of arrival, And the idea being, when you're swabbed on the first day of arrival, if you're negative, then you're swabbed again on the last day, on the 7th day, before you can be led for home isolation. Okay, that's all right. So I'm traveling from the 10th. I got to the UAE on the 11th, almost the whole day, a long hours flight. So I get here, I'm being tested. I know I was okay from home. I did everything I could, like I've been explaining, to be free and, to ensure that I don't contract anything along the line. The nurse comes, she says, oh, I have to swab you. Yeah, I know. Then she does the swab and she sends the specimen to the lab, wherever she had taken it to. And I'm just, continuing with my life. Why? Because I'm very sure I don't have COVID. You understand? I don't have any symptoms. I was busy doing this dramatic spraying of things the whole way, wearing gloves and ensuring I'm sanitizing all the time. So I just told myself I'm all right. Then the following day, it was a Tuesday. I saw the results were taking a little bit longer to come out because when I did the initial test before I left for home, they took exactly 24 hours. So the results are taking a little bit long. And then just when I'm thinking about it, the doctor calls me in my hotel room. Hi, Cindy, this is Dr. Aisha. She introduces herself. Yes, I saw you when I was coming in. Your results are out. Yes. And then she says to me, they came out positive.
Wow.
I said, no, they didn't. Honestly speaking, I said, no, they didn't. She says, I'm very serious. Unfortunately, you have tested positive for COVID-19. At that moment, it's just like my whole world turned. Honestly speaking, it was like somebody just, a dark cloud just sort of covered me for those few minutes. I'm trying to digest this. What is this?
And you think at that moment you feel like you're dreaming, you want to pinch yourself to say, am I real? Am I going to wake up?
No, I'm like, no, something is definitely wrong here. I think there was a mix-up or there's something wrong, like something is definitely wrong. Then she's saying, oh, unfortunately, that's what we have. Then I'm like, no, listen to me. I have my reasons why I'm saying this is not appropriate. I tested a few days before I left home. The whole way, I tried to make sure, I was very much well protected. So this cannot be. She said, unfortunately, you've tested positive for COVID. And we'll have to move you from the hotel. Then you have to be taken elsewhere where positive patients stay.
Wow.
And exactly my reaction at that moment. What? I started feeling sick instantly. Now I'm being moved from where I am. I'm being taken to a center where there are COVID positive people. And I'm part of them.
You're no longer a hotel guest. You are now a patient.
I'm not a patient and I'm not a nurse at that moment. You understand the many things that are changing here.
Yeah.
I'm used to being a nurse, rendering care and delivering most of the time. But now I'm being told that I'm moving from this hotel, I'm going to a place where there are COVID patients and I'm going to be one of the COVID patients. No. Honestly speaking, I really felt shattered. Like, no, this is not happening. And then at that moment, I'm just trying to call everyone. I'm calling everyone, because you sort of lose your mind for a moment and you start thinking of all the people who are close to your support system. And then like, you know what? This is what is happening. Now it's not like I have COVID. These people are saying I have COVID.
Because you are sure, there is that period of denial where you think maybe they made a mistake. It can't be me. You feel like saying, can we do it again? People
are saying I've got COVID. It's not like I have COVID. No. This is what those people are telling me. Calm down. I'm just getting, honestly speaking, I really had so much support. And then my friends who are already here, they're trying to reach to where I am, because I have to be moved. So they're trying to understand, where are you taking her to? They have to know where I'm going to. They have to know what they have to bring me. And am literally almost non-functional mentally at that particular moment. I'm just taking breaths here and there, and I'm just thinking I'm going to be all right. And here's the interesting thing about stigmatization. The moment I checked into the hotel, I get into the hotel room, then this young man is just being kind. How are you, man? Blah, 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 blah. Where are you from? And then I'm telling him I'm from Southern Africa. Which country in the southern part of Africa? Then I say I'm Zimbabwean. Ah, I'm Zimbabwean as well. He was so friendly and nice. But when the news came that I have COVID, I think it was just spread the whole team. He didn't have any conversations with me. It would be like literally knocking at my door, leaving my food and like running away. You wouldn't even say.
You feel like he leaves your food and he runs for dear life.
Trust me, I was making my friends laugh. I'm like, this one day, the moment he knocked, I just jumped to the door just to say, hey, like, why are you not saying hi anymore? I literally saw him taking a corner. I think he was literally sprinting, not to have any interaction with me. So this is me waiting to be transferred to the quarantine center. I'm like, this is what I'm already experiencing from here. Man, I'm in trouble.
So, there's something that I find interesting for me. You test negative this side, you test positive that. As a medical person, would you say maybe there was something that was not done properly with our test this side? Or you were, there was a stage of, not yet, incubation or something?
Certainly, you're actually saying it right. So me being patriotic and protecting where I come from, despite our own challenges that we have at home, I'm very sure they could have done it at home. And I have every reason to trust the system. I don't have any reason to doubt them. And I was saying to these guys here, you are the ones who might have got it wrong. You understand? So it's two systems being involved, two different parts of the world. It could have been at home that it was missed. It could have been this side that somebody picked up a positive that was actually non-existent. But nevertheless, they say these days, a false positive is better than a false negative.
Yes.
Because if you have a negative, you think you're right now, it's very high chances you got there, you're thinking you're negative, but you've been positive and you're just spreading it to the people. So you better be negative and be told you're positive. You always remain, cautious, all the precautions appropriately, and it's still good for you. So the other thing, it might be that, yes, and that was a very good question. Thank you for asking me that question. So me being a medical person, having a bit of medical knowledge, I asked the doctor, okay, so you've just told me that I'm positive. Can you please explain what this positive means? I want to know what my CT value is. Am I very infectious? Is this acute? I really wanted to understand, just for closure and all these things, just, for my own knowledge, it was just giving me that, little bit of closure. What do you mean I'm positive? And just tell me any more stories surrounding this. Yeah, and then that girl said to me, your CT is 19. My CT value was 19, Zenzele. And, it was pretty on the low side, just telling a story that I was, at that moment, highly infectious. It was an acute infection that I could have picked up, a few days back, So that explains maybe when I was at home, it wasn't really detectable at that moment. But I got here, they managed to pick it up because it was still within the acute stages. Because if it's something that I had picked up a few weeks before, the CT value would have been a little bit higher, confirming that I'm somehow in the recovery stage, recovering process. So yeah, my CT at that moment, it also could have highlighted, like what you rightfully said, I was still in the non-detectable stage when I left home, and thus it was picked up when I got here.
So because there will be someone who will be then testing me and say, so what is CT? So how do you, in layman's language, what is the CT value?
Okay, so the CT value is what they look for when they do the COVID swabbing, right? Okay, in terms that maybe most of us would understand, I'll give an example to the common HIV virus, right? and I'll talk about the viral load. You
Uh-huh.
understand?
Yeah, we understand that.
Yeah. Yes. So if they say your viral load is high, it means you are very infectious. And if the viral load is low, usually it happens to people who have been on treatment for a very long time. They're now less infectious, right? It means they are less harmful. But in this COVID instance, it's a little bit vice versa. When your CT is low, that's when it means you are highly infectious, you're still in the acute stages. And when the CT value at this moment is high, it shows you have had the infection for some time and you're in a healing process or you're almost non-infectious anymore. That's what the CT value story is all about.
Yeah, that's quite an informative piece of information. So you leave the hotel, you go to the COVID center. Tell us about that.
So I am like, oh my goodness, where are these people taking me to? You know, I really want to know where these people are taking me to. And at that moment, I'm calling, I'm bothering everyone. I just want to know where you guys are taking me to. So the doctor says, let me call the Minister of Public Health and send them an email and then ask them where they are taking you to. She gets back to me. She says, oh, you don't really have to worry. Okay, for the first time, honestly speaking, I really felt appreciated for being a nurse. For the first time, I qualified in 2007, and I just feel, nurses, no one really cares about us. Well, most of the times we're insulted, you're like this and that. But for the first time, I was told, no, there's an apartment, there's a place, another hotel, a quarantine place where nurses and doctors are taken to. Oh, really? Okay. My anxiety is coming a little bit down, but still, since it has that tame, hanging on it, that is a quarantine center, I still want to know where I'm going to. So they bring a car downstairs to come and get me. At that moment, an army of my friends are already downstairs. They ran quickly when I was told I was moving, and at least I was given, I think, almost 1 hour, 30 minutes to move. So they just left what they were doing. And a couple of my friends downstairs, asking questions, want to know where she's going. And then, okay, I get down. Oh my goodness. At that moment, I'm leaving my hotel apartment. Oh my word, this is what I'll never forget. I'm given, that suit, the PPE, that suit that they wear when they're gonna lay from, especially these neurosis people when they're laying people with COVID. It looks like a space suit. That thing is very hard. So I'm meant to wear that. I'm like, do I really have to wear it? They say, yes, ma'am. And at this time, the treatment has changed. And I'm wearing gloves, I'm wearing masks, and I'm wearing a face shield. Then I'm saying to my friends, oh, I don't even think you guys are going to recognize me. Because I am so, all clothed up like someone. That's what one of my South African friends was saying. Like, you're clothed like before. So I'm leaving my apartment close, like, all this PPE, like, as we're laughing about it. And then the elevator, the lift that I had used when I was coming up, this time things have changed. I'm not using that lift. I'm using this one with the red tape, red zone. This is the lift that you have to use. Oh my God. Red tape, I was just taking photos of everything. I was like, I'll look at this one day and I'll just laugh about it. So red tape, red zone, I'm now a red zone. Everything about me is now red zoned. Then I go downstairs, my friends are standing at a distance. I'm just waiting. They're not allowed to come anywhere near me. And the funny thing being, one of them is saying when she got there, they were like asking, did she tell you? Did she tell you? Like what? That she's got COVID. You see the stigma story again.
Yeah.
God saying that. And then my friend said, yeah, we're nurses, we're medical people, we understand this. So we actually know. So we've just come to know where she's going to and give her a few things before you guys transfer her. So I was escorted to this place here, but it's still within the city, one of the hotels. That's where they took me to. Okay. So I'll explain further when I tell you the aim for sharing the advantages of us to have these discussions. So this is me getting to this place that I was taken to, the so-called quarantine center, right? I get there, the guys are nice, they're taking my luggage, and I'm actually helping them out. All of a sudden, it's like, no, sit there, we'll help you. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not sick, I'm all right. So I can pull some of my bags, you know? And then they took me up to my room. It was a hotel again, few at least. So I opened that apartment, Zenzele. I think this thing has so much to do with the psychology and the emotion during that time.
Yeah.
So I open, voila, it's a very beautiful apartment. It's actually nicer than my own apartment. You know, that really had it had a soothing effect in me. At that moment, I just thought, okay, if I have come to a place like this, then certainly I'll be fine. So this is versus when I had my own fears. So if I had been taken to this quarantine place, because I was imagining this place with beds, people next to each other, coughing,
like
sharing a bathroom,
ward of some sort.
you know? So this is what I had, and this was one of my craziest fears. And I was just like, that is just gonna kill me. So I get here, I have my 1-bedroom apartment, you know, I have a beautiful apartment, honestly speaking. There's even a store for me, you know, a proper apartment, which is nice than mine. Then I just thought, okay, you know what, get through this. And this is just maybe somebody who has ears can hear this. And these are all the small things that matter when it comes to this pandemic that could just make a difference in the people who are affected. Just having a proper quarantine center, you understand?
Yeah, I think the proper quarantine center matters and the proper hospital matters, because for me, I think what has been with the reason why we are also having so many people are dying is because of poor, health facilities. You are taking to a hospital, you are saying to yourself, Lapa anza pendugi, because you can tell that there are no proper facilities. You are just thrown away, and everyone is coming and sliding food, whether you eat or not. It's none of their
no one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then during the quarantine, did you find were there times when you really got sick and saying, here, I'm not feeling well today?
Oh, so this is me having been, okay, this is where I am. Okay, I'll have to make it work. So the next thing, I'm calling people again just to allay their anxiety. I'm all right, guys. I think the place that I've been taken to is appropriate. Actually, I'm very close to where I was. This is me calling back at home. You understand the other thing? Now you're miles away from home, just having come back from home. And then you're telling people who are very close to you have COVID. You're not the only one who is affected. This is like affecting even your surroundings.
Yeah.
So many texts, my mom, my siblings, everyone is just worried because I was like, oh, I'm being moved. Okay, I'm being moved to an appropriate place. Okay, so this is me at the quarantine center. And my friends that I spoke about earlier, who had come to see me when I was being moved, the support system was great. At that moment, they're saying, just send us the location of where you are. Oh my goodness. COVID never saw what was on its way. Eucalyptus oil, garlic. I had in abundance of everything. Blenders to make the paste with the garlic, the ginger, and the lime, right? And at that moment, I had made lemon as well. Then they just said, pour even the made lemon in the mixture, and then just ensure that you take this as often. This is the interesting part. I'm not sick, right? I have no symptoms, but I've been told I have COVID. You understand? So before I even start exhibiting any symptoms, my friends were just like, just start fighting it.
Just deal with this virus as fast as you can.
So the fact that they've said it's there in your system, it means it's there. It might be lying dormant somewhere, but it's been detected. So just start fighting it. I fought it tooth and nail. I'm busy steaming. I'm busy having this mixture, the paste that I told you about. I boil water because I blended together ginger, garlic, lime, And then I put mad lemon in that concoction. So it became a paste-like, and I put it in a lunch tin. So I was scooping and putting in boiling water and then drinking it as many times as I could. And then they got me eucalyptus, they got me lemons, they got me onion, some of the things that I had not even been listening to or following up on. Because at times, there's COVID, but you always listen to things from a distance. Why? You've not been affected yet. You understand?
Yeah.
But now it has hit right at home. So they're saying, use the lemons, use the onions, and the eucalyptus oil. I would put it all in a bucket, and then in Telamazabilayo, and I would steam. Oh my goodness. At that moment, I was like, why didn't I see this coming earlier? What am I missing at that point? On Zumbani Labo that we have back at home. I'm just thinking, only if I had known things, I found Zumbani as comments, and just bring it. So it was going to help me. So I remained asymptomatic, honestly speaking, for a couple of days. And then come Thursday, that was like almost day 4. I don't know if this was the mind again. I was actually telling my mom, I don't know if this is the mind controlling me because it's still expecting to feel some kind of way because I have COVID in my body. So I should feel some kind of way. So I felt like my sense of taste, like I couldn't taste food appropriately anymore. And then my friends, where I actually saw that I had sort of lost my sense of smell, they brought me flowers, right? And they're saying they really smell nice. At that moment, I can't smell anything. And then I said, I think I have a problem here. So I don't know if I was genuinely not smelling, if I was genuinely not tasting, or at that particular moment, it was my mind that had taken toll and it was telling itself, you have to feel something, So this is me feeling somewhat like I have symptoms, but not feeling anything at all. Then I just continued with my concoctions. I continued with my, what do you call this? The steaming. And I continued with reading the Bible, for us, the religious people.
Yeah. At that particular time, your prayer levels actually increase. Any opportunity you feel like a bit of pain, you kneel down and pray.
I was even saying, I have a neighbor. This neighbor says, I don't know where this one is from, because I was praying a lot, praying for myself, praying for other affected people, praying for people who are bereaved in all parts of the world. And it was during that week, I think the first day that I was taken to quarantine, then I saw your story with, Mr. Masiye, and you guys, it was like you were literally talking to me, because I just sat down and I was like, okay, let me just see what's happening around, even if I'm stressed like this. Then I see something like this. I'm like, these people are actually talking to me. I learned a lot. Okay, so most people have actually gone through it. This is what happens. And then the sad thing is, the past week, that first week, it was like most people were dying. And that's the news that was reaching out to me. So and so has died. So and so came from Namibia, came to Zim. They went back, they died. They discovered they had COVID, And I'm just thinking people are being a little bit insensitive. Honestly speaking, that's what I felt at that particular moment. Busy telling me about people who are dying from COVID. And at that moment, they know I have COVID. You understand?
Yeah, the news of death is news that you don't want to hear at that particular time. So this is why when I talk to most people, they say, we stopped watching TV, because that's what I did as well. And you don't want to read the headline that there's numbers of people who have died of COVID. I remember actually sending a text message to my workmates and telling them, guys, you are insensitive in your reporting. Because at that particular time, I felt like they were not speaking to me, but they were pushing me aside, So I said, you guys are insensitive to people with COVID. Why don't you change your reporting and do a bit of hope,
Yeah. So this is me exactly, sailing in the same boat as you. Like, for a moment, it felt like the only news that people were relaying to me was COVID as well. Just think to me, there's so many things you can tell me about. besides COVID, you know? So now why are all these conversations? So I want, like, guys, you know, just try and make sure the stories are a little bit smoothened, you understand? Because I'm actually going through a trying time myself, you know? Yeah, so this was me and my COVID story, and I remained asymptomatic all throughout. And I'm actually making the nurse at the quarantine center laugh. I'm like, I don't even know why you guys are keeping me here. Because every time I'll go and do my vitals, my T sets are 100%, blood pressure, temperature, all within normal values. So I'm like, you guys should just let me go home. Then she goes, no, it's mandatory that you go up there for 14 days. I'm like, I know, I'm just joking. And then I'm like, maybe you guys can give me some work to do. If there's people around here and they're really ailing and they're, you know, I can actually be on duty and be going around and be helping out. At least I'll be doing something. But I was just strong all throughout. And I thanked God for that. Because, you know, you'll be thinking, there's so much happening around the world because of this COVID. People are suffering, the world is bleeding, people are dying, but this is me. I have COVID, I'm asymptomatic. Lord, I thank you. Not because laba abanye ababe affected to extremes are not praying, but just because I realize you've just been merciful to me. So honestly speaking, I was so much grateful. And I was okay. So yeah, this is me back at work as normal. And you know, I was watching my colleagues out. I'm like, I'm checking you guys. Don't discriminate me. I don't need that. So they've been so nice. And they actually cough. I'm not coughing nothing. I'm like, you guys got COVID out here.
Yeah.
You know, so this COVID was too because I've been okay. So yeah, it's been all right.
So tell me, the moment you phoned your mother and told her that you had COVID, I mean, what was her reaction?
So this is the mother that we have. This is the mother that I have. And I just get so much inspiration from that woman. My mom is, you know, those very careful kind of women. This is the mother that I have. Why am I saying that? She's the type that you'll call her and you're all shaky and panicking, and then she'll remain calm on your behalf. This is how my mom is, you know? So I'm sending them pictures in my spacesuit, you know, PPE, and then she's actually laughing. In one of these photos, you see, she says there's nothing to be scared of. Are you feeling any pain? No, you know? So at that moment, she's giving me strength. She says, your mind, don't let it make you feel like there's something wrong with you. It's okay, they've said you're positive, but just remain, you know, optimistic and just be yourself. Then we'll see as time goes on. So this is my mom. She doesn't openly, I know inside she'll just be thinking, oh, Mtanami, and maybe go pray, or she's worried like that. But she's this kind of a person who really remain collected and be put on your behalf. And then my siblings, my little sister, my young brother, yeah, they were the ones who were a little bit, you know, you know. But my young brother is making me laugh because there's this thing that has been circulating. Gutani, nothing as irritating as a breadwinner who doesn't want to go food, you know.
Yeah,
so hey, in China, make sure we have food
because lose the breadwinner.
Yeah, so we're laughing about it here and there. My sister is in SA. She's like, I know you're strong. So, you know, the support system, honestly speaking, from my very close friends, from my family, it was very, very neat and secure. So, you know, I owe it to them on a serious note.
So during the time when you had COVID to quarantine, what were some of the things that you said, you know, what changed you? What was the moment where you said, you know, this experience, the experience that you went through, what changed you? Or how did it change? Do you feel like, you know, you're now thinking differently, you now see things differently?
Yeah, you know, that's a very good question. So there's no way you cannot change because it's like you are icing between life and death. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't really know what your prognosis is going to be like. I might be okay today, but I don't know how I will be end of day tomorrow. You know, this kind of thoughts. So to me, it was more like reaching out to people is what I promised myself. Because I'm usually this carefree person. Honestly speaking, I just look at things and I just tell myself, oh, okay, this is what is happening. And I just pass through. More like it doesn't concern me kind of attitude.
Yeah.
But when I was in that quarantine and going through this whole ordeal, then I see your guys' interview and I'm just thinking, you know what? I'll be really an advocate as well. I want to share my story with somebody, just ensure I am part of the people who are doing this for a good cause, emancipating each other with information, trying to, share knowledge as much as possible. It might change someone's life. I think that's what greatly changed from being, this person who stays in my little cooking, like I don't really care, okay, to being like, I really want to reach out. I really want to say something which hopefully will mean something to someone when I'm done here.
So now, do you ever feel any symptoms or feel like, something with me is not okay, or you're 100% fit?
I'm as fit as a fiddle. Honestly speaking, I'm as fit as a fiddle. I'll be lying, really like, I'm actually 100%. Besides the 2 days that I thought I was losing my sense of taste, my sense of smell, I really didn't have anything major out of quarantine. My life is just continuing like normal. Like I really haven't felt anything of late, honestly. I really haven't. But one thing that I was saying to my mom, one of the days when I was in quarantine, I actually woke up. I think I was just having a bad dream. It's like I couldn't breathe properly, but I think all up in the mind because you're expecting something. So I woke up, it was around maybe almost 3 a.m. Then I'm just trying to sniff around like, yeah, maybe this was just a bad dream. Or I was anticipating something, since I know I have COVID. And then I just prayed anyway about it. And then I just took my time. I just steamed and everything. And I really haven't had any problems prior to that. So this is the other thing. We as a people, what we have to understand about this COVID, some people remain asymptomatic. They have COVID. You understand? So this is a lesson to all of us. We should protect each other. It's our mandate. It's really important that we treat each other, like you're saying, it's our responsibility to protect each other because we have this thing and it's quite tricky because we love each other, we trust each other, we've been around each other for a long time. And quite naturally, when we're around each other, we just find ourselves removing our masks around each other. So I was like, okay, I just wish we could just switch a little bit, from these experiences being shared, from some of the experiences that some of us have gone through, just make it a responsibility and mandate to protect each other, just to try and protect each other.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is very important because I find that my theory is we don't get COVID from strangers, but we get COVID from people that we spend time with, family, friends, cousins, the workplace, because we get so comfortable with each other that we end up removing the mask. I will always have this thing, my friend cannot have COVID. You have eaten us, chona song, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Certainly. So yeah, this is my COVID story. So, the reasons for sharing and coming out like this, because there's still a lot of stigmatization somehow around COVID, but it will take people who are selfless, if I may call it, to come out in the open and say, guys, look, and I'll be honest with you, like you're saying, how am I gonna maybe happy? Or I'm wearing my gloves the whole trip. No, there's no way, and I'm sanitizing. I can get COVID. So it's inappropriate to stigmatize because COVID is everywhere and anywhere. So you might never really know where you get it. That's the first thing about it. And then the next thing is, we share, city educate each other, enlighten each other. Because this has been called a novel virus, by the way. And it means that it's a virus that has not been previously recorded. It's never been experienced before. This is the very first time it's novel that we're going through it as the whole global community. So there's still so many things that are being, followed, so many things coming up. Everything is just new. So, we share, you never know, from the way you have shared, from your experiences, that information can be collected, literature, right? And be used to come up with a solution at the end of the day for what the world is going through. So by being selfless, just trying to tell people this is what is happening, COVID is there. Because, there was a time when we were all like, I don't know, but me, I'm guilty as charged. Like, you'll be thinking, this is just a myth. Akula COVID. Abantu bayahamba bengela mask. What is this thing? But when it has hit home, you've had it before, then you confidently stand and tell people there is COVID out there. So we're enlightening each other. COVID is there. COVID is real. Let's protect each other. Let's keep on sharing that that it doesn't affect only the physical body. There is the most dangerous part about COVID, the psychological and the emotional being, the bit of it, So indirectly, we all become affected. If I'm affected, if you're affected, it's not about me and you, it's about the other extended community, families. Psychologically, everyone becomes traumatized. So directly or indirectly, COVID is affecting everyone. So I think it's a minded and it's all of us responsibility, just to come together until a solution is found, just to try and be collectively coming together and ensure we just try and fight this as best as we can.
Sindi, thank you very much for sharing this story with us, because I know a lot of people are going through this. And I was telling people just that, I heard the news that in my village, Plumtree, there was actually one case recorded there, COVID, and I was telling people that, talk to abadala ekhaya to stop these habits of visiting. Xa kuthiwa kuyagulwa umakhelwane uyagula, sihamba besiyabamba izandla ezimfeni, omama babetshona behlezi ecansini, labo baba benatha utshwala betshintshana izikhathi. Those habits during the COVID pandemic, they can really make them find themselves with the disease. So we really encourage people to try by all means to minimize, but also let's educate people around us, our parents who are older, who might not have the necessary information, because we are losing people daily, and it's something that we can try and stop. If we can stop the spread, then we will reduce the cases. And once again, thank you very much for sharing your story. And it's always good to talk to people who survived, because they know what we are talking about, but also they inspire other people who might be going through the same problem at the time. My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet again next Friday, where we are talking to other people who have gone through the COVID pandemic or the COVID virus, or they've survived this challenge. Have a good day.